this model was supposed to simulate the behavior of real athletes.
That's a good way of going about that.
There we go. This is
That's a very good
This
way.
is the foundation
I like that. Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
negotiation.
There are many ways of succeeding, but find the best fit for you.
Beats me, man.
There it is. That's the show.
That's
guys.
the entrepreneurial roadmap that everybody has to,
I don't know. I feel like that way in school too. They're just like, follow the path to be successful. But then when I look at the people who are actually hyper successful, I feel like they never follow the path.
It is the power of collective subconscious. If you ask me, bridging the gap between innovation and real industry is the startup.
Welcome to an episode on the Estelle Ingenuity Podcast. I'm Stephen Estelle, engineer, CEO, and founder of Estelle Ingenuity. In our episodes, we dive into different experiences from people who specialize in technology, entrepreneurship, and other necessary elements that will help you reach your full potential in these fields. We focus in on innovative devices that will be changing our society, stories from entrepreneurs and how they maneuver through the business landscape, and how these new technologies are being used in businesses to bring value to the world. From these stories, if you are inspired to develop your own inventions and prototypes, and you want to see your innovative ideas flourish, reach out to us at estelleingenuity.com for your prototyping needs so together we can begin creating the new devices of the future. With that being said, enjoy the show, follow and subscribe to Estelle Ingenuity Podcast, and relish the wisdom from the topic you hear today. With this technology, you're putting it inside of your current entrepreneurial company. So give us some more details about the company and how the process of starting from academia to now industry. So give us a good overview of what you got going on with the company.
So I wouldn't call myself industry yet because I would like be more comfortable with the term early stage startup.
All right, sounds good.
And which wants to make a solution viable in industry. So when we're talking about startups, we should understand that startups are not there to stay on one technology forever. Their job in the dynamic of growth of industry is to create things and leave it on to bigger corporates who are very, very very slow moving into create things, but they're very good at managing things.
Okay.
So the bridging the gap between innovation and real industry is the startup venture landscape.
Okay.
So as an entrepreneur, I want to have a career that I do like 10 exits with like 10 different technologies that I kind of pass it on to like bigger corporates who manage it and, distribute. But I am on the side of making new things.
Real quick, before we continue, can you explain to people who might not know the jargon, what is an exit for an entrepreneur?
Okay, so here's people might think, okay, so you want to make this great thing.
Yeah.
You want to make money out of it, right? You want to sell and you want to have revenue, right? That's how business worked from the early ages.
One.
Yeah, you catch fish, you sell, and you
Give me money. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You buy fruit.
Yeah.
But that's true. But there are some middlemen in between who can do other stuff to create value. A venture creates value by making something that is not very viable into something viable, and by creating a company and shares, you grow the value of those shares. And when you sell this, or another term, exit. And when you sell those shares, you are making the profit that you're supposed to do by the work you put into this product. We are looking into like a 5 to 10 years window of development.
Right.
That the thing is ready, market ready, fit to be out there, and they just grab it and use it. Right. But you can't sell in this window.
Yeah.
It is not like you cannot sell. Okay?
Yeah.
But the main profit, the main carry, they call it, the jargon is carry for the VCs.
Venture capitalists.
Yeah, venture capitalists. Is that I create this company with this patent. When I start, each share I have is worth $1. When I work on it and I sell these cheap shares to some investors, and we work on the product, and it becomes a very welcoming product. People like attractive product. They want it, and other investors comes and they buy the shares for more expensive. And then there comes the day that this thing is ready to sell or go IPO, initial public offering, go into stock market.
Got you.
When it happens, either IPO or you sell it to some other company, a bigger company, this is called exit.
So you sell it, take your money, I put in the work, I raise the value.
Yeah, you sell the shares. You sell your shares and you make profit and you move on to the next project.
And you leave.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Gotcha.
This is the landscape of in deep tech entrepreneurship. Some people can stay, but depends. But a venture capitalist looking at that window of time. So if you want to work with them, you have to have the same goal. So you guys being in the same on the same side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you know, I want to make so that's not they want. They raise fund as entrepreneurs do, and they want to see profits made at the end of their cycle, and that cycle is 10 years. So we had, I don't know, 100 million. This has to become 100 million by the end of the year. So they invest in and the risk is high. So the difference here is the risk. It's like 10% success. And the 10% success means that one company has to make profit 10 times.
To make them
to break even. To make profit, you have to go 100 times more. That's 1,000 million.
Go big or go home kind of mentality.
It is. But if you have like a big fund and you have a various portfolio, you always make profit. It's a question of how big of a profit you make, but you don't go broke.
So why do you think some entrepreneurs decide not to exit? They want to hold on to their ideas. Just from your opinion, maybe what you've seen.
Personally, maybe they get comfortable in their company and they have a good life and they have the revenue they want. So that's it. And they're satisfied, which is totally fine. I mean, I don't see any. But what I mentioned was like the standardized entrepreneurial pathway, which kind of disabuse this notion that because I made this one, I have to stick with this one forever. That's not it. That's not how it works, because you want to work with investors and investors want to, see growth, and you have to move on. Yeah. You have to move on to the next project, totally related project, but you have to move on anyways. But, the economy of VC, because of the risk, is not very cool right now because of the crash in the Silicon Valley Bank. And when it comes to those things, the people with money stick to safer bets.
That's fair. And I mean, I guess that's kind of how it goes. So then for you, for your company, for your journey right now, where do you see yourself? So you said you're still in this whole startup kind of phase. Around maybe if you had to put like a year in your journey, where would you put yourself? How deep are you?
So our plan is we are open to pivoting. That's the flexibility part of it. Okay. We are not attached or consumed by this is the solution and this has to be the solution. We are looking at all areas that can be applied, and that's one of the reasons we went after the IPOs, right? And what I'm having in mind is to do a little bit of, a different take on how I go for marketing, how I want to, connect with people. So the standardized way, I've been doing it for 6 months now. And I've been following the standard path. I learned a lot. I connected with a lot of people, but to my intuition, let's say, I think it needs a little bit of more pizzazz. More than that, what is like the stereotype, oh, you have to do this, you have to do brute force. No, you need to connect with the right people and you have to create this environment, this ambience to attract people, not just go after another one.
So kind of go into details about that. Kind of, can you explain to me what would you say are some like you said, like the standardized way of going about it, and then when you say this new pizzazz or razzle dazzle.
So that's a good.
What are you gonna try to do differently, or what are you thinking about?
So what I mean by standard is like when you go to an accelerator or a startup program, they bombard you with these education stuff. They give you, now you learn the lean startup. Now you need the deep tech school, and you should do this. You should do that. Everybody knows about the Mama's test. Everybody knows about this. Lean. You have to do interviews. Okay, now we know that, and we did interviews, and that's fine. But did that got me the funds? Didn't.
Okay.
In marketing, revenue is the oxygen.
Of course. Get that right away.
So, suffocating and being asphyxiated with this nonsense for a long time, just dying blood.
Okay.
Of a slow death.
Okay. So then what are you?
So what I want to do is just go crazy with it, man.
So specifically, like when you say go crazy, are you talking about doing like publicity stunts?
Yeah, publicity stunts. Exactly. Like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna put bandage on my face walking on Grammys.
Right, like you're so cute.
Like The Weeknd. No, I'm not. But something that is more my taste. I'm thinking about it still. I like
this. I like this. Yeah.
So this part goes to the taste and the personality of the entrepreneur. Somebody has like the grit of military grit. Those guys gonna plan out this. Strategy to go at it, doing boot camps, right?
Yeah.
Somebody might take a different, more creative turn. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But it definitely, it helps to talk about, what are you going to do? I don't have like the most solid plan. I'm going to talk about it later when it's like more solidified, consolidated. But that part is very, very depending on who you are.
Right. I think this is actually very key. Because I feel like you said, a lot of people follow the textbooks, do this, to do that, to do the thing after that. But I do feel like there is kind of like this almost free-form, artistic way of how everybody succeeds differently.
I would say artistic. You put it in artistic. Somebody else would put it in like brute force or boot camp.
Yeah.
Literally, it shows that me and you are looking at the artistic aspect of it. You blurted out. I mean, I didn't say anything about. I did, but not specifically.
Yeah, but
you picked that one. See how a person would have a predisposition to different.
Yeah, I feel like there's a creative way of doing this.
Yes. So it's just a matter of what's my story, what's your story, right?
Right.
How it comes together, and definitely having think tanks. Having this conversation, we bounce ideas off each other with different people. That helps.
Yes, I agree on that one a lot. So then why do you think people aren't, or maybe in your environment from what you've seen, why do you think there's not so much conversation on that other side of like, I guess, market in your way, what fits you? You don't need to follow the books. You need to do it based off of how you are. And there are many ways of succeeding, but find the best fit for you.
Beats me, man.
There it is. That's the show, guys. All right.
Well, I mean, I can,
Because I feel like that's important. I think that's very important. Because I feel like, just like everything, they're like, follow the... It's like, I don't know. I feel like that way in school, too. They're just like, follow the path to be successful. But then when I look at the people who are actually hyper successful, I feel like they never follow the path.
I have an idea about this, to be honest. It goes to this, this becomes more psychological. I don't know if this is the domain we have to talk about.
Lay it on me.
Yeah, but here's my idea. Like, our conscious capacity, let's say it's 10% of the whole capacity of our brain.
Okay, I got it.
And we've been gathering data and information and learning whole our life. We cannot have all that at our disposal, like every second. They ebb and flow, right? So when I want to convey my new finding that based on like certain aspect of my, and I use words, I use conscious mind to communicate it with you, you get a take and you know, process it, you distill it, literally, and you pass it on to somebody else. So the message might get murky or lost, or even lost.
Okay.
I would say. So this is the part that here's the solution. You have to be in the stream of information. So those things that you have to do get out. This is like bubbles up. This is like Richard Feynman process, the conversations. You have to be in an academic environment, talk to people, just talking to people. So it happened to me once that I couldn't find the solution to something. I told to myself, I'm going to talk to Eduardo the next day, and we talk about this. We're going to solve this.
Is Eduardo a real person?
Yeah, he's a co-founder of our company.
Okay. Shout out to Eduardo.
So yeah, hi Eduardo. You are missed here. So the next day I went to the lab.
Yeah.
When I opened my mouth, just talking to him, I came up with the solution.
I experience that all the time working.
There you go.
Yeah, that's very, very...
It is the power of collective subconscious, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. It's like cases for me, it's just... Even the person I'm talking to doesn't even respond. It's like, I had this problem for the past 2 days. I'm going through this, that, and the other. I have this issue. But then I never tried this. And then you just literally just answer yourself.
There you go. But you need another party.
Yeah.
Another, mind
just
present. Just, there's an effect here. I don't know how it works. It's the cat and the Chinese.
Yeah, right. It is something about just being, I guess, being heard. I don't know.
There's something to it, man. I mean, it's like when you talk. I mean, when you open the conversation, when you open the connection, you kind of have a bigger mind. You kind of have a more powerful processing unit, maybe. If you want to call it like a processing unit,
something.
I mean, but
something's different.
But there's evidence that shows that this works. How it works is like I cannot listen to I cannot put EEG on a computer and say what's the CPU inside. Maybe I could though.
ChatGPT.
With AI you can.
Yeah. It's like we're getting there. Yeah.
What I'm saying is the collective mind. It's not about exactly what's being communicated. It's about being in the stream of information until something you want and you're looking into bubbles up. And that's why we are always lost into explaining how it happened. Most of the time, everybody loves like a protocol. Everybody loves a 1, 2, 3 list to go through and get results. It's amazing, right?
It's easy to follow step by step.
Recipe. It's the best thing ever, right? Yeah. And I have my delicious cake, and I promise
that is true. The stream of information.
But here's the protocol. You have to put yourself in the stream of information. That's the protocol.
So when you say stream of information, do you mean just
talking to people about living that environment and not get stuck to it? That's another facet of it. Because
not getting stuck meaning
that sometimes this is my So here's I would say. I had when I was learning mathematical engineering, I had a hard time learning the partial differential equations, PDEs.
That destroyed me.
I had a hard time understanding it, and it was like my nemesis, man. I was like, I can't get the hang of it. Well,
dark magic.
But that stuck.
Yeah.
So I started to look into different books. Right, there was this book that it was like, this is the best, man. If you have this one, this is the Bible of PD.
Okay.
If you don't understand it from this, you're stupid. That was the context of the.
That's kind of intimidating, but all right.
That was downright false.
Yeah.
Because when that book was basically based on memorizing stuff, and then after you memorize some stuff that you don't know the basis of, then you are good doing some calculations and understanding how it works. That did not resonate with me. So I went to the second and third and fourth. On the fourth try, everything just clicked. Because I gathered all those, confusing information from before, and then I got the right message and it clicked. If I went to the fourth book the first time, I wouldn't have had the same results. So getting stuck is good as long as you get out of it.
Well, yeah, it's like
because you gather information anyways.
Right.
Here's how it works in a social context.
Okay.
There's a group of people, and they say these are the elite force, man. If you are with them, your career gonna skyrocket. But what if those are not people you resonate with? You still gather information, obviously, but you cannot put it together. What you do, if it doesn't work after a certain amount of time, subjective, obviously, you move on to the next group of people. And then you can go back. I'm not saying that you should say it's not. It's not about the human conflict. It's about you getting to a solution. It's not, okay, I need another opinion. I need another opinion. I need a bigger society.
Yeah. I get that.
So I want to make it clear. It's not about, you guys are not. No, you guys do not help me because you have a different style.
Right.
That's it. But your information helped me when I got into this group of people to do it like in a second, in an instant. Just like this story. So it comes to the fact but we are very good at forgetting that this is not working. We kind of put the blame. Repeating ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to me every time.
It's almost like human nature in some cases.
Yeah. It's protective. It's how you protect yourself.
Yeah. It's kind of how life is sometimes. So do you think going back into like this whole stream of information and figuring out the best way to, I guess, personalize your entrepreneurship ways, is it just about just finding your group?
It's about finding the best pipeline, which includes the groups and how you understand people and how you are better at understanding this person is a good fit or is not a good fit, and how I can make things faster. What are the easy ways to do it?
I like to call that the vibe.
The vibe, yeah. The vibe. That totally. I mean, I can steal that.
That makes sense. It's just like
allow me.
It's a vibe off, or is it good? We're on the same page.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but no, I think that makes sense. So when I would say when you're trying to build a group of people and you're trying to kind of get this group that I don't want to say you vibe with, but you feel like the way that they do things resonates with yours. How would you feel like is the best way of trying to figure out these groups of people?
So the first step is to be good at understanding your psychology and mental health. Not everybody. You have to be able to read the signs. You have to educate yourself.
I agree.
To understand, okay, this might be a symptom. You shouldn't judge, obviously. But you should be aware that, okay, this could not lead to a very good...
This thing's a little off.
Yeah. So accept the off. This...
Yeah.
And just, the Blink book, and Malcolm Gladwell Blink book?
Blink book, no.
So everybody knows about the tipping point, but nobody heard about the Blink. So it's about this unconscious it's called adaptive unconsciousness.
Okay.
Subconscious or unconsciousness, which basically located behind our nose bone, and this changes during the information we get through the lifetime, and the output of this network is a yes and no. It's binary. You feel good, you feel bad. You feel yes, you feel no. It basically that's why it's called subconscious.
Yeah.
But you don't have it when you're a kid because you don't have enough data.
This kind of starts to sound like you're...
It's like it is the gut feeling that yet somebody walks in like, but you have to trust that as long as you're not attached to the result. If you want this to work,
What's this called again? Behind you said book.
In the book it says this is called adaptive unconsciousness or subconsciousness.
In the book.
In the Blink, yeah. Blink. Malcolm Gladwell. It's not a very new book. It's like 10, 20, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But it says that this gut feeling is basically your knowledge all together trained in this network that the output is just a binary response. You feel bad, you feel good in your gut. Right, that's the gut feeling that people have been talking about in the stories and fables and whatever.
Yeah.
But it gets paralyzed if you are attached to the result. If you need a car and you're desperate for the car,
okay,
you won't see that this dealer is a con man. He's a grifter
because you really want
because you want a car.
Okay.
But if you are going with somebody who wants to buy a car and you don't care, I mean, you have your own car, and you see this man is off or this woman is off, you're like, okay, I don't have a good feeling about this. And this is based on the information you learn through your whole life. It's a lifetime response.
I didn't know this actually had like a
anatomical...
Like like I knew it was a thing, but but
this is like a very... the reduced way of looking at the brain, because you cannot have like a certain part that does this.
Right.
But when in pop psychology books like this is how they say maybe the firing is higher. When you look at the MRIs, fMRIs, you see like a bigger chunk of firing when they are putting people in front of tasks like that.
Gotcha.
Let's leave with that. It's not if I remove this, everything is broken.
Paralyzed. Fair enough.
But it is very important to understand how attached are we to the result.
That's good to think about. You got to kind of do some self-reflection.
So about the startup, if I really want the fund, I can end up with the wrong people so easily. That was my whole point about this story.
No, that's interesting. I noticed for myself as I get older. It's like right now I'm only 28, and like you said, as you get older, I would just call it the gut feeling, just for sake of terms. I feel like I've learned to trust it more and more. When you're younger, it's just non-existent. And then now I feel like I'm at a point where if I get that feeling, I don't 100% go with it, just because you have to, of course, take the measurable route. But I will say maybe 80% of the times I trust that feeling now.
Yeah, that's a huge amount.
Yeah.
You ask me, this is like more than what I've been talking about. Like even 70%, 60% means that you are thinking about it. That's 80% means that you kind of are trained to use it.
It's I guess from what I've noticed, it's like, and I mean, of course, sometimes it's wrong. You just readjust, kind of, but I just kind of noticed that there's a reason this is feeling this way, and I just feel like from your own experience, it makes sense. And from my experience, from going through it and trusting this instinct, it normally worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I was right. This was this case.
Next time, I'm going to be more on top of my game when this similar happens.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things that, like you mentioned, people need to be self-aware of, not being so fixed on the end goal, and to think about what is actually the best process further past the end goal.
It is like an ongoing struggle. You cannot just say, I'm going to be like this anymore. So that's why I say like a psychology book is never a book. It should be a workbook. We don't have like effective psychology book. We have effective psychology workbooks, because you have to do it. You have to do it like you do it in a gym. You have to, grapple with it. And you fail, you're going to do a good job one time, a better job the other time, or sometimes you just don't do anything.
So do you think going on, so you mentioned like one of the first things to try to find that good group that you resonate with, vibe with, whatever word you want to use. So this is one of those things you need to go off of, that gut instinct. Are there anything else that you feel like you came across that you found?
Not attached to the final results.
Not attached to the final results.
I mean, and have a mental game. Be strong enough that, okay, this investor, I want the money, but what if I don't? If I drop everything just right now? What happens? You have to think, if you have plans, you get detached from the results. Then you can have a good negotiation. What other thing I think it's beyond the scope of today is the negotiation and critical thinking that entrepreneurs should learn during the journey.
Now, is that just learned through experience, or do you think that's another personalized skill?
It's a skill. It's a total skill, and you cannot learn it just by watching a video. Or it's a process. People are practicing it for 10 years, and they are not claiming any, being super on top of it.
Yeah.
But negotiation is an art.
Okay.
And when you want to make a deal every day, you have to negotiate.
This sounds like a masterclass.
It's a masterclass, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's
I
fun.
feel like I saw a masterclass advertisement that said something like that. Yeah.
Actually, I took that class, and
Yeah.
that one. Actually, you're talking about Chris Ross.
It was on like YouTube. He said like
the
negotiations
Chris
are art.
Ross. I know. I took that class.
Okay.
And there's good points in that class, but I wouldn't call that a holistic approach to negotiation. That wouldn't be the negotiation that I'm talking about. He's mentioning techniques. That's techniques can be helpful.
Okay.
But I think those techniques are working when you have a good foundation of how negotiation works. So actually, I did take that.
Okay. I was like,
It's a good one.
So then let me just ask you this then. What is the one advice for negotiation you would give somebody?
And know your worth.
Know your worth.
Yeah, and understand that negotiation is what I bring to the table and what the other person bringing to the table. And when you want to assess how it works is like, okay, if I do it alone, how much should I pay? If I do it with you, how much it's going to be? And the amount is being saved should be split in half. Because without me, they can't do it. And without you, they can't do it, and they have to pay the full price.
That's a good way of going about that.
There we go. This is the foundation.
I like that.
Of negotiation. To understand, because I'm living on the first floor, I'm not going to pay for the electricity bill of the elevator. Oh no? Okay. If you don't, the price of the building goes down if you don't have a functional elevator. Right? You go 1 story, okay. You go 4 story, okay. How does that affect you if this building doesn't have an functional elevator? Does it affect the price of your house, your apartment? Comparing to when it does. When you see the difference, we have to split the gain. Ultimately, equally between all the stories. This is negotiation. So what should I pay to do this thing alone? What do we say when we do it together? The gain should be split into half.
Yeah, but I guess their gain will be different because if they do it alone, it'll be a different cost than how you.
If they don't have a gain, they won't do it with you. That's the game.
Fair.
They don't love you, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
If there's no gain, they won't do it with you. That's how it is. That's the mechanics of it.
Yeah, it won't even be a negotiation.
So they have a gain. You have a gain. You see what I should do. What should I pay to do this alone? And when they are there, how much it is? How much gain is created together?
Yeah.
We split the gain. That's it. That's negotiation.
That was a good gem. I think somebody's going to take that and put it in their back pocket. Okay, so let's end with the last question I like to ask a lot of my people that interview. So the last question I ask people is, for the future of mankind and humans, what is one thing that you're hoping for or looking forward to for humankind?
Education, self-awareness, yeah.
So education towards like everybody or like self-education or like specifically what kind of education?
Not shying away from learning. I mean, like, people think, I know this skill, I have some revenue, I live a life. But that's not how it is. Things change, you get stuck, and you lose your skills to learn stuff.
Okay.
But if you're always open to learn and you understand that you have to learn until the last second, you're gonna have less pain. You suffer less if you learn.
I agree.
That's my hope.
Just like more education in that kind of way and things.
Like not just education in class. Like I'm open to learn things. I'm not say, oh, this is over. This is not plastic anymore. This is rock solid. No, there's always room to, investigate. There's always room to add. There's always room to learn. And it's exciting. It's hard. But then people are going to have less pain.
Nice. That was a good response. So before we end, is there anything that you want to talk about? Any shout out for what you're doing? Would you like people to get in contact with you?
Oh, yeah. So I really like to use your platform to, come visit us at sagesentinel.com.
Okay.
And see what are we about, and see what we are trying to save the elderly for now. But this is us in decades. So we are solving everybody's problem, and we would love you guys to come say hi.
Okay. And then real quick overview of Sage Sentinel. So that's the name of the company that we were talking about, and then the idea.
We are making the solution to prevent the fall in the elderly.
Gotcha.
So by preventing, I mean immediate prevention. Like we predict that they are falling in 3 to 5 seconds, and we try to stop that.
Nice. Okay. And then if somebody wanted to contact you, would it just go to Sage?
Just go to the sagesentinel.com or our LinkedIn page and shoot us a message.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to have your website and all the things in the comments.
I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun talking here.
Fantastic. That's really good. So not bad then. Well, anything else you want to say before we take off?
Thank you guys for listening.
Awesome. All right, then that's the end of the episode. Thanks again for coming, dude.
Thank you, Stephen.
That was the end of an episode of the Estelle Ingenuity Podcast. Hope you learned something new and innovative and were left inspired to go create and invent new ideas for the betterment of society. Make sure to follow and subscribe to the Estelle Ingenuity Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube for more stories and experiences from people in the field and to hear about new up-and-coming technology. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next podcast episode.